Sige,
Siguro, mamaya mo na mag-add ka sa media. Punta muna tayo sa...
Let's give a chance to Congresswoman Zamora, to Vice Chair ng House Committee on Justice. Alam na natin ang naging first hearing ng Committee on Justice, ano? Yung second phase ng process ng impeachment sa House. Siguro pwedeng simula tayo dun sa reaction nyo dun sa petition ng group of lawyers to ask the Supreme Court to declare as unconstitutional yung ginagawang hearing ngayon.
Okay po. So, we have several thoughts on the petition filed by Attorney Torion and Company. No? Unang-una po, they filed it as a taxpayer, alleging that it is a taxpayer suit. For us lawyers, hindi po pwedeng taxpayer suit ito dahil hindi naman po involving monies of the government ang kine-question dito po. Second, sa totoo lang po, we expected them to file this petition. Sabi nga natin, it is more than 100 pages long. How can they have come up with the 100 plus pager petition in a few days, right after we had our hearing in the Committee on Justice? So obviously matagal na hutong pinaghandaan, pero hindi po yun. Ang sinasabi po natin ay last year po nung tayo ay sumabak po sa impeachment, sila po ay nag-question sa Korte Suprema saying that the way that we filed the impeachment and transmitted the articles of impeachment before the Senate was unconstitutional. Dapat daw po hindi dumiretso doon. We bypassed rules. We did not follow the Constitution. We did not follow the rules of the House of Representatives. Ano po ang nangyari doon? Naglabas po ang Korte Suprema ng desisyon back in July saying that we should follow due process, that while that we should follow due process and afford the Vice President her rights under the Constitution, and this will be done by going through the House Committee on Justice. So kaya ngayon, nagtataka kami na kung kailan sumusunod po kami sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema, kung kailan po bawat letra ng House Committee on Justice rules and the rules of impeachment of the House of Representatives, bawat letra po ay sinusunod namin. Kine-question po na naman nila ito. Sumusunod lang naman po kami sa aming tungkulin under the Constitution and as dictated by the Supreme Court in the decision in the Duterte case.
Ma'am, nakikita niyo ba na may potential ng constitutional crisis dito? Kapag, again, dahil hindi ako abogado, hindi mo masususpindi. Pwede ko sabihin, pag nag-overstep uli or nag-overreach ang Supreme Court sa kanilang kapangyarihan at pakialaman yung exclusive na karapatan ng legislatura.
Well, gaya po last year, no, sabi natin, there was an overreach. With all due respect to the Supreme Court, ako po ay isang abogado. Yun po ang paniwala ng karamihan. Pero naniniwala pa rin ako at hinihintay ko pa rin po ang desisyon ng Korte Suprema na sang-ayon sa Konstitusyon. Ito po, gagawin namin ang tungkulin namin under the Constitution, ang tungkulin namin as representatives, as congressmen, and as members of the House Committee on Justice. And I believe that the Supreme Court will act judiciously and properly dahil sasabihin naman ho nila, di ba, na sumusunod lang kami sa kanilang mga directives in their decision and in fact in the resolution dated January 2026. I don't think that there will be a constitutional crisis, honestly.
So, ma'am, you are so hopeful. na
Yes.
walang constitutional crisis.
Yes, I am very hopeful po.
Ma'am, babalik ako ng konti. Di ba na may first time din, almost the same composition ng Supreme Court. Ito yung nagko-warrant to sa isang impeachable official.
Yes.
And Chief Justice at that.
Yes, opo.
Kayo po ba, malapit naman ng mahal na araw, naniniwala pa rin kayo sa mirakulo?
Naniniwala naman po tayo. You know, we will always do our we will always do
si attorney na lang po
our
kaya ang sumagot.
duty. We will do our duties under the Constitution, and I know the Supreme Court will also do their duties under the Constitution.
Sige, let's ask
Kasi bagay ma'am,
private lawyer.
sa hulihan naman ng inyong liham sa korte, palaging my prayer.
May prayer po. Opo.
Sige. Ano yung tingin nyo from a private perspective doon sa nangyayari sa House at yung reaction ng mga ostensibly private citizens and taxpayers?
Tulad po ng sabi ni Kong Zamora, last year, nung sumabak sila sa impeachment, question yung kanilang paraan, yung proseso. So ngayon, nung sumasabak sila ngayon ulit, sinundan nila yung sinabi ng Supreme Court, dapat dumaan sa proseso. So yun ang sinusundan nila. Ang sabi nga ng Constitution, in Article 11, the committee after hearing and by a majority vote of all its members. So, dapat talagang may hearing. Ito yung ginagawa nila ngayon. 'Di ba? Sumusunod lang po sila sa Constitution or their constitutional mandate as well as the rules of the House on impeachment proceedings. Meron ng finding on sufficiency of form. Tama daw yung i-final. Kompleto naman po. Tama din daw po yung may substance po. If taken on its face, yung mga nakasulat doon, mukhang merong kaso. Tapos, dumaan na rin po sila sa sufficiency of grounds. Dapat doon titingnan pareho yung complaint at kung may answer, kung ano yung sagot doon, kung masasapawan ba nung answer yung mga aligasyon sa complaint. Dahil mukhang wala naman pong talagang point-by-point answer doon sa answer at kautelang ni VP. Ngayon po, nandun na po sila sa finding of sufficiency of probable cause. Bilang po sila kung umakyat ito sa Senado, sila po ay ang mga kongresista po, ang Committee on Justice o kung sino man yung magiging prosecutor, sila po ang haharap sa Senate who will be the judges. Kailangan nilang i-prove na may kaso. So, ngayon pa lang, kailangan din nilang makumbinsi ang sarili nila na may kaso. That's why nandito tayo sa finding of probable cause.
Ma'am, noong nakaraang taon, walang hearing. Automatic. Ipinadala, hindi naintindihan yung forthwith. Pinirmahan ng marami. Ngayon, ang sinasabi nila noon, masyado minadali. Hindi kayang basahin sa isang araw yung haba ng pleadings. Ngayon, nung nagkakaroon ng hearing, unconstitutional pala na magsagawa ng hearing. Ma'am, kaming mga hindi abogado, saan po ba kami lulugar? Saan po kami maniniwala?
Okay, banggitin ko po. Yung last year na sinabi nila na hindi kayang basahin, sa totoo lang po, binasa ko yun. Alam ko, yung iba kong mga kasama, binasa din po nila ang articles of impeachment or yung complaint. In any case po, ito nga po, iniisa-isa natin ang bawat paragraph of the complaints. We scrutinized 4 impeachment complaints. We are down to 2. At hanggang ngayon, paulit-ulit natin binabasa ang allegations, ang lahat ng provisions, lahat ng paragraphs ng complaint. Nakalagay nga po sa Constitution na kailangan dumaan sa hearing. Yung House rules po, in-adopt natin in accordance with the constitutional requirement also. So yung requirement ng hearing, nandun po. Banggitin ko po sa lahat siguro, no? Yung rules natin sa House, gaya po ng sabi ni attorney, nakalagay po doon na kailangan duman sa hearing para po mahanap o matukoy natin yung probable cause nga. At siguro para sa kaalaman ng lahat, ano ba nga itong probable cause na to? Ano ba itong hearing na ginagawa natin? Di ba po sa piskalya, meron tayong preliminary investigation. So, yun po ang ginagawa natin ngayon. So, kami pong members ng House Committee on Justice, para po kaming piskal, yung prosecutors, ito po ang step bago po ipasa sa trial court ang isang kaso. So, dito po, ang trial court natin ay ang Senado at lahat naman po tayo ay nakakaintindi doon. So, sa isang preliminary investigation, ano bang ginagawa ng prosecutor doon? Tumatanggap siya ng complaint, ng answer, ng ebidensya, and the prosecutor can propound clarificatory questions. Yun po ang ginagawa namin or gagawin namin in the next hearings kapag dumating na ang mga witness o yung respondent, o the complainant. Yun po ang gagawin natin. Clarificatory questions as prosecutor or as prosecutors or as the fiscals. Yun po ang status ng ating proceedings ngayon.
A formal invitation has been sent to the Vice President to appear before this proceeding, and clearly she opted not to attend. Ang tanong ko lang, ma'am, is her non-attendance, can it be construed as a waiver of her right to be heard at this stage?
Oh, meron nga sinight si Luis Tro ba yan? Na yung hindi niya pag-appear is itself a violation of the Constitution.
Yes, in fact, Chairperson Luis Tro even cited a case. I think it was penned by Justice Tiham and said that the non-appearance in the proceedings is tantamount to a violation of the Constitution. Nag-agree po dyan si Honorable Laila de Lima. And for us naman po, no, totoo, nung hindi po siya sumipot nung huli po naming hearing, she waived her right to be present there, to answer what could have been asked her. But as we said, in the next hearings, she may participate through her lawyers, and we will follow the Constitution, the rules, and afford her due process as dictated by the Supreme Court in the Duterte decision.
The critics of the House and the camp of the Vice President continue to label this process as nothing but a fishing expedition. Ang tanong lang po natin, ma'am, should the House scale back its process just because the Vice President find this process politically uncomfortable?
Of course not. Ang proseso ay nakasaad sa Constitution, nakasaad po to sa rules which we adopted at the start of this term. It's the same rules that we adopted in the previous terms. Wala pong pinagbago yan. In fact, in the previous impeachment complaints, yan din po ang rules na ginamit nila. Why would we scale back just because a party is uncomfortable? That would be irresponsible on our part. Well, kaya nga siya may abogado. We expected her to do everything to question the proceedings before the Committee on Justice. Kaya nga sabi namin, expected naman na magkakaso siya sa Supreme Court. But we assure the public that we are doing everything that is dictated by the Constitution and by the rules.
Ma'am, yung mga abogado ni Vice President Sara Duterte, ngayon pa man, sinisira na yung kredibilidad ng Madriaga. Ano daw ang credibility ng isang bilanggo na testigo? Parang naalala ko lang, may dating senador na ipinakulong dahil ang testigo ay puro bilanggo.
Apo.
Laila de Lima yata po ang pangalan nun.
Tama po.
Ma'am, ano ito? Sa legal parlance po ba, meron po bang there is a thing as moving goalpost? Na depende kung sinong hahatol, kung sinong kapaboran, kung kaninong kapaboran,
Oo nga po.
gagamitin yung ganong mga makapanira ng mga pahayag.
Tama po kayo, no? Nangyayari nga po yun. Yeah, you're correct, no? That happened during the time of Honorable Laila de Lima. Ang stand po namin sa Committee on Justice as regards the allegations that Madriaga is of a questionable character, kaya nga po tayo naghi-hearing. Wala pa naman po kaming sinasabing may probable cause na. Hindi pa po naman namin sinabi na there is probable cause to forward the articles of impeachment to the Senate. In fact, wala pang articles of impeachment. Magkakaroon lang pong articles of impeachment kapag sabihin po ng House Committee on Justice may probable cause, gagawa po tayong resolution at kalaki po ng resolution na yan ang articles of impeachment. So ngayon, kaya po tayo nagpapatawag ng hearing aside from mandato po namin na gawin yung hearing na yan ay to determine kung meron ngang probable cause, kung tama ba itong mga affidavits na ito, kung to verify the veracity of the attachments to the complaint and to the attachments in the answer kung meron man. So, wala pa po kaming sinasabi na may probable cause na at may articles of impeachment na. Dito pa lang po namin titingnan yon sa
Oo.
hearing.
Sinasabi nila, the House is conducting a mini trial. Pero, am I correct in understanding ko na si Chairperson Luis Tro mismo ang nagsabing na nabanggit niya, sort of a mini trial.
Yeah.
Quotation courts.
Okay.
Quotation di ba?
Yes. To her defense, no, she used the term mini trial very loosely, and that's how we will address this issue. Mini trial is not a legal term. It is not defined. And although it is defined in the Alternative Dispute Resolution Act, and the definition in that act po, sinasabi lang na, in fact, hindi siya trial. It's like a meeting of the parties and there is some sort of a mediator. In short, hindi pa rin po siya trial. Bakit po hindi itong sinasabi nilang mini trial ang ginagawa ng Justice Committee? Bakit po namin sinasabi na hindi po ito trial? Unang-una, ang trial po ay mangyayari sa Senado. Tanggap po ng lahat yon. Second, ang sabi po, mag-hearing po kami. Sabi po ng Constitution, sabi po ng rules namin na kailangan namin mang-hearing. So ito po ay hearing nga po to check whether there is probable cause. So in a sense, it is a preliminary investigation. So hindi po siya trial.
Attorney Dina? Apo. Help us make sense of the impending decision of the Supreme Court regarding the Torion petition, whether to approve or deny the application for TRO. Naitanong ko lang po ito dahil, siyempre, nung nakaraang taon, hindi pabor. Pabor doon sa respondent yung naging desisyon ng Korte Suprema. And in this case, if the House continues to assert yung kanyang authority as the sole yung court para doon sa impeachment, ano po ang nakikita ninyo na pwedeng gawin ng House na legal recourse if and when this happens?
Teka, related to that, ano yung posibleng time frame na pagsagot ng Supreme Court kung given this reply ng mga lawyers? Will that not prolong the process sa House bago isampa sa Senate ang impeachment?
At the moment po, kaka-file lang po ng mga abogado or ng taxpayers, as they call themselves, yung petition for certiorari and prohibition with a prayer for TRO and injunction. Okay. This has to be taken up first by the Supreme Court. They have not, as of the moment, as far as I know, they have not yet acted on it. It's either going to be raffled or i-discuss and back. So hindi pa ho natin alam kailan nila gagalawan ito or kailan nila gagawin itong pag-raffle or pag-call ng en banc session to discuss. Okay? So we cannot preempt what the Supreme Court will do. Now, as to the House, I believe na they should just go on with what is mandated by the Constitution, which is hearing this matter on probable cause. Tulad po ng sabi earlier, ang mga members ng Committee on Justice, naroon sila parang fiscal, di ba? Personal determination yan ng probable cause. Ang dami po nila, personally, each of them will have time to ask questions to proposed witnesses so that they can determine for themselves if they think mukhang pwede kong paniwalaan to, mukhang may probable cause or not, diba? So, on that note, the Committee on Justice being mandated by their own rules and by the Constitution to have this hearing should push through with whatever has already been planned.
Using your premise, attorney, kung nasa gitna na ng pagdinig and suddenly naglabas ng kautusan ng Korte Suprema pabor sa interes ng respondent, pwede bang sabihin ng Kongreso, hindi, tuloy natin ito? Kasi naniniwala tayo na ito ang mandato ng Constitution sa atin. Is that even possible, attorney?
Considering that they are co-equal branches, personally, I believe they can if they choose to. However, it really will depend on what the decision or what the order of the Supreme Court will be at that time. Yun po yung kailangan nilang i-take up as a committee and then decide how to move forward.
Ito yung actual na sinabi ni Attorney Torion. It allowed yung House hearing. It allowed the third and fourth impeachment complaints to survive despite defects in form and substance, and then attempted to cure those defects through a subpoena-driven evidentiary process. Ibig sabihin, yung ginagawa ng House, yung require ng bank accounts na tapos yung iba pang requirements ng
Sigat, dagdag ko na rin sa tanong ni Kuya Butch. Yun ho bang exemption doon sa bank secrecy law na binabanggit sa impeachment trial, ano ho bang kapulungan ng tinutukoy doon na may exemption? Yung Senado bilang court sa impeachment o yung House of Representatives na siyang magsasampa ng kaso?
Actually, hindi po malinaw yon. So, dahil nakalagay naman po impeachment proceedings, ang nangyayari naman po sa House of Representatives ay impeachment proceedings. And I believe that we are covered or we fall under the exception to the bank secrecy law. In any case po, siguro to answer the statement niyo po, sir, kanina when you read the article, no? Siyempre, sasabihin po ng abogado ng respondent na magkakaso sila dahil questionable ang proseso sa Committee on Justice dahil defective daw ang declare namin na it is sufficient in form and that it is and that they are sufficient in substance. Siyempre, sasabihin po nila yon dahil sila ang abogado ng respondent, di ba po? But as everyone saw, inisa-isa po namin, again, ang mga provisions, ang mga paragraphs ng bawat complaint. Yung dalawang complaint po, we declare them to be sufficient in form dahil nakita natin that there is a verification, there is an endorsement, nandun yung mga pangalan ng partido, kompleto po at may listahan po tayo niyan. Sufficiency in substance, sabi natin, meron po. Dahil ang kailangan lang naman po doon is a recital of facts that will show the impeachable offenses. Meron po tayong listahan ng impeachable offenses. Nakita po natin ang recital of facts or yung ultimate facts. Meaning po, ano ba po yung ginawa mismo ng respondent? Nakalagay ba yon dun sa complaint? Hindi po natin hinahanap dito ang tinatawag ng mga abogado na evidentiary facts, which are the facts that would, in short, yung ebidensya po mismo, no? Hindi pa po yun. Ang kailangan lang na nakalagay sa complaint ay yung specific act na ginawa po ng respondent sa isang impeachment complaint. At nakita natin na nakalagay naman po yun. Kaya natin dineclare na sufficient in substance. Kaya po, napanood naman po ng lahat ang proseso ng Committee on Justice. So we believe that we followed the requirements of our rules and the Constitution step by step.
Yung salin siya, parang meron ng kopya ang House. Di ba sabi ni Atty. Redon, nakita niya na yung mga salin And 50 million ang hindi nagtutugma dun sa legal compensation niya since the time na mayor siya.
Correct po. Nung may isang hearing po noon na may finlash po si Congressman Redon sa screen.
So hindi kailangang, halimbawa, mag-appear yung si Ombudsman and certify yung validity ng mga evidence?
Well, since we sent a subpoena to the Ombudsman and we requested for some documents, I believe that they will comply. Opo. AMLAC po, hindi pa po.
Ma'am, alam naman po natin na yung impeachment is both legal and political. And between the two of you, ma'am, you're in a better position to answer yung political side ng issue na ito. Meaning sa inyong mga kasamahan sa Kongreso, ganun pa ba kainit ang pagsuporta nila sa inisyatibang ito? Considering na nitong mga nagdaang araw, meron kayong mga kasamahan na parang dili-dali dun sa pagsuporta. Ano ang damdamin sa kasalukuyan ng inyong mga kasamahan?
Tama po. I admit that some may be dilly-dallied. I admit that some congressmen have questions compared to last year. Well, of course, dahil paparating na nga po ang next elections, no? Kaya, again, and we admit nga po na this is a political process. But as we go along, I believe that our colleagues are seeing the cause that the members of the Committee on Justice are fighting for, ika nga. Paminsan po may nagtatanong sa atin kung may ebidensya ba, may point ba to, may kaso ba. And I said, like before, sabi ko, pareho naman po yung kaso like before, and in fact, there are more pieces of evidence now kasi may nadagdag. May nadagdag na attachments po dun sa complaint. So, we saw the impeachable offenses last year. They are similar to the impeachable offenses mentioned this year. And like I assured my colleagues, meron pong kaso.
Sa
Do you expect ba na darating si Madriaga doon sa House hearing? Meron ng subpoena si Madriaga.
Opo.
So you expect him to come to the hearing?
Yes po. In fact, Congressman Chel Diokno moved for additional protection for Mr. Madriaga.
So kaya ang
we will
sinasabi
report
ng lawyers na this is a trial. Hindi lang hearing for di ba?
Well, under our rules nga po, it is a hearing, but it is also stated under our rules that we can ask questions. There are examination questions that we may propound as members of the House Committee on Justice. Again, it is a hearing for determining probable cause. And like in a preliminary investigation before a prosecutor, before a fiscal, the fiscal can ask clarificatory questions to the witnesses or to the complainant and the respondent. So, ganun din po ang ginagawa natin.
Ma'am, sa political side, umaasa po ba kayong mapupuno ng required numbers ng signature yung impeachment na yan?
Yes po, umaasa po kami and I believe that we have the numbers.
Para 100 plus lang, pwede na, no?
Yes, we need one third or around 106 if I'm not mistaken, and I believe we have the numbers, sir.
Siguro tanong ko si attorney.
Minus, si...
Attorney, yung SALN, di ba ito yung pinakamapanganib na papel sa mga nasa gobyerno? Nakadalawang Chief Justice tayo dyan sa issue ng SALN. Palagay nyo, hindi dapat ipagsawalang bahala ng pangalawang Pangulo yung SALN na hawak na ngayon ng House of Representatives?
Actually, personally, I've never filled up a salad myself. And so,
Kaya po kayo ang tinanong ko, hindi yung dalawang nagka-file ng SALN.
I've never filled it up, so I don't know what it actually is supposed to entail. But I believe that if it's required by the government, then there is a reason for it, and you should answer it honestly. Now, if she had...
Iyan po. If she had answered it honestly, and she believes that there's nothing to fear because everything there is above board, then might as well come forward and discuss it. It looks like in not wanting to come and confront, while I do understand that her lawyers are trying to tell her this is an unconstitutional proceeding and all, and if you go there, one part kasi the lawyers can say, if you go there, it's like you're giving in and recognizing what they're doing. But at the same time, if there's nothing to hide, why not just confront? This is her chance to defend or to show that there's nothing wrong with her SALN and convince the Committee on Justice that whatever is being alleged against her is not true. Then maybe they personally will decide, oh, let's drop it. Diba?
Ma'am, as a private lawyer, pwede nyo bang sabihin na dapat magpalit ng set of lawyers yung kampo nila? Kasi parang yung jurisdictional question, narinig na rin natin sa dahig eh.
That is her choice of lawyers are personal to her. So I will not go into whether she should change or not. That really is, may strategy na yan, I'm sure. Matagal na nilang na-lay out yung strategy na yan. Diba?
Sinabi nung Dean FEU College of Law ba yan?
Dean Mel.
Dean Mel,
Dean Mel Santa.
na part ng strategy nila yan na yung downplay yung findings ng hearing dahil ang test is yung sa Senate na where they feel they have the numbers to dismiss yung impeachment.
whatever her strategy is for her and her lawyers. Now, if that is what they want to do, they want to downplay the proceedings in the House of Representatives, that's on them. That's really their decision, and we respect that. If they want to fight it out in the Senate, that really is also, again, their decision. What I'm saying personally is, if you can nip it in the bud here in the House, why not try to? Diba? If you have evidence that will, kung may ebidensya ka pwedeng isupalpal doon sa mga kung ano man ang nasa House ngayon, bakit di mo na ilabas? Baka sakaling mag-decide sila na hindi na rin ituloy.
Ma'am, educate us. Decided na ba kung anong meaning ng forthwith?
Hindi pa ho yata eh. I understand it's supposed to be immediately.
So, may possibility na kung magpapalit ng liderato ang Senado, forthwith. Problema na naman yung forthwith.
Pwede po. Depende yan po sa Senate as well. The House and the Senate.
Ma'am, kung ito ay tunggalian ng naratiba at ang premyo ay kung paano i-capture yung damdamin ng mga mamamayan, tama ba yung estratehiya na tumakbo sila sa Korte Suprema para makahanap ng kakampi to some extent?
Ang problema po kasi sa pagtakbo, palagi na lang yun yung recourse nila eh. Takbo na naman sa Supreme Court, takbo sa Supreme Court. But this time, paano po mangyayari yung takbo nila ngayon sa Supreme Court when the House is just following what the Supreme Court said last year, 'di ba? So parang ano yan, mag-flip-flop ba ang Supreme Court sa ganon?
Ma'am, follow-up lang. Isang taon na simula nung makilala natin lahat si Mary Grace Piatos. Pero hindi naman nasagot eh. Diba? Up to now, mahigit isang taon na ma'am, hindi pa nagkaroon ng kasagutan. Pero itong mga ping-pong na ito tungkol sa usapin ng impeachment, ano ang pakahulugan nito kung ang pag-uusapan natin na itong proseso ay dapat sana isang mekanismo para papanagutin yung matataas na halal na opisyal ng pamahalaan na di umano ay nagkasala sa bayan? Anong pakahulugan nito dun sa mekanismo, ma'am?
Sa akin po, I believe showing this thing to the public, making it, broadcasting it, is showing that our institutions are in place. They're just trying to follow what is mandated by the Constitution. Mahirap po kasi yung sabihin kung anong perception ng publiko sa ganito. Bilang abogado po, syempre po kami paninindigan namin kung ano yung nasa batas, ano yung rules. Yan po, ganyan po yung wiring ng abogado. Ano ang rules, ano ang Constitution, susundin namin yon. Pero iba rin po, I understand, what happens is it's different also yung acceptance or perception ng public, ng publiko sa ganito. Pwede nilang sabihin, lumang tugtugin na yan. Pwede rin nilang sabihin, sige, ilaban mo. Depende yan po sa tao. But I think what this ping pong has shown is that there are still people who want to fight for what is right, what is true.
Ma'am, alam ng publiko yung composition ng Senado. Kahit nakapikit yan, kayang i-predict ang iboboto at least nung 7 o nung 8. I'm not saying 9. 7 o 8. Halos alam na yan. Ma'am, ilan po ba sa mga justices ng Supreme Court ang natitirang appointee pa ng dating Pangulong si Duterte?
I think most of them are appointees of the previous president.
Ma'am, again, initin ako, mukha namang nakaipon na kayo. Pejoratively, may kasabihan na a good lawyer knows the law. The best lawyer knows the judge. May lakas po kayo ng loob na sumagot dun sa indirect questions na yun. O, pass na lang po muna.
Pass.
Sige, tanong natin mga kasama sa media.